Lori, can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good, thanks.
So Collins.
Good morning, everyone. We are waiting for our presiding officer, who should be here momentarily, and we'll get started. So I'd ask you to give us a little patience.
Well, good morning, Scott.
Buddy.
Scott,
Yes.
you can hear us? Okay. Because some people are commenting that they have no sound.
Can you, well, if,
I can
Can-
hear.
oh, okay,
I
Thanks,
can
Kitty.
I can hear everyone as well.
okay. Our chair is joining us. Mr. Chairman, if you're here yet,
I am here.
we have a quorum. You are able to start at your convenience. If I could have 30 seconds, though, before you start to make a quick announcement.
The floor is yours,
Is
sir.
this me or does anybody else have audio?
I have
I can
audio.
hear you, Mayor.
I can hear you just fine.
Just
Yeah, and I
for
can
the
hear you fine, obviously.
for the benefit of the committee, Spokane County Planning has hired a clerk to the Planning Commission, which is also the clerk to the steering committee. Her name is Rona Smith. She started with us this week. She is listening in, and she will be in front of you when we return. And because we've now filled that position, finally, she will be in front of you when we meet in May in person again for the first time in a while. So we are thrilled to have her aboard. She's a longtime county employee, comes with a lot of experience, and I look forward to her working with all of us as we move forward. With that, Mr. Chairman, the floor is yours.
Well, and so have you already been through roll call to establish quorum?
Yes, we have a quorum.
Okay, very good then. So the next item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from the January 29th meeting. So they've been distributed. Does anybody have any questions or comments? And I see a message from Mayor Kamiskas. I can't hear you though. So how do we, is she been joined as a panelist?
Yes. We seem to be able to hear her. Oh,
Oh, okay, sure. So she's hearing on the phone. All
Got it.
right, very good. So the January minutes have been distributed. Unless anybody has any corrections or additions, chair is open to a motion to approve.
Mr. Chair, Tim Hadberg, Spokane Valley, move to approve the minutes from January.
Very good.
Second,
Second, got a
second,
motion and a second. Oh, thank you, Mayor Freeman. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay? No opposed, so the motion passes. That gets it to a public hearing. Do you want to start out, Mr. Chesney, with the staff report, and then I'll open up
Yes.
the hearing?
Yep, I will do so. Bear with me a moment. Everyone, we have before you public hearing today on climate and resiliency countywide planning policies. Several of you have been involved in the subcommittee. The PTAC has been working on these diligently for more than a year. And we have had those documents posted for you. They've been in staff reports. We've got the timeline here of coming to you for your deliberation and hearing of public testimony, and then hopefully a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. Here is the full process summary that you've seen, and getting up to today's public hearing. If these are sent forward from the steering committee, they will go to the Board of County Commissioners in April next month, 2025. There have been 2 recent public comments that came in the last 24 hours or so. One from Paul Kropp and one from Dr. Carrie Brooks. Those were sent out to you this morning. I know it was a late email. They came in late. I hope you've had a chance to look at them. Mr. Kropp's comments are generally refining our grammatical skills and bringing some clarity. His county staff has no objection to that. Dr. Brooks' comments are a little more substantive, and he may, if you choose to open the testimony, I expect he may want to add to that. And with that, Mr. Chair, we will turn back to you for your engagement of the public.
Thank you, Mr. Chesney. Do any of the committee members have any questions for Mr. Chesney before I open up the hearing? Seeing nobody stick a hand in the air or anything, I assume that Spokane Home Builders, yes.
Sorry, that's Joel. I apologize. I'll change that. Did you guys not receive, I know Jim Frank had sent me some comments. Did he not get those to you, Scott?
If they had come in earlier, then yes, they would have been, cataloged and posted on our web with that. The ones I was referring to have only come in since late yesterday.
Okay, I have those. If we want, I could put those in the record, if that would be possible.
Please go ahead and send them over. I would suspect, I'll look while we're talking here, but I suspect we may have them, but if we don't, we would certainly put them up quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have any comments before we open up the hearing? Seeing nobody raise their hand. So this is a public hearing, and so I'll open it up for anybody in the audience that would like to provide any comments on the climate resiliency countywide planning policies as presented by Mr. Chesney. Give you 3 minutes to comment, and if 3 minutes is not adequate, please feel free to submit your comments in writing. And I do not have a sign-up list in front of me. I'm assuming that either staff or you, Mr. Chesney, have a sign up for potential speakers.
We are watching at the moment. Darren Watkins has his hand raised.
Okay, Mr. Watkins, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner French. We are just wanting to make sure that when we look at the documentation for the Growth Management Act, one of the requirements now has us to begin the questioning of just how and when we'll have a plan in place for the reduction of greenhouse gas. Our concerns are specific with the border issues that we have with Idaho. If you take a look at the number of cars that are now going from Idaho to Washington to commute every day, that number has truly gone off the charts. We're at 90,000 plus cars per day more than we were just 5 years ago. And why is that? Well, because Idaho has made it to a place where it's easy to build. And also the prices of lots are still relatively cheap. When I say relatively cheap, I'm talking in Post Falls right now, you can buy a lot for $82,000. That puts a construction price and sale price of a 3-bed, 2-bath house there at $411,000. While over here in Spokane County, we have such a lack of inventory, and we have seen in the last 10 years alone, that inventory collapse by a factor of 10. And additionally, with supply and demand being the factor that hits Spokane County the hardest, we have seen those prices of lots go from 10 years ago, this quarter, we were averaging about 2,000 lots for sale. And today we're down to about 90 buildable lots. And a median price for those lots is well over $200,000. As a result, we've created this vacuum that's now where people are buying homes in Kootenai County and commuting here. It's no surprise that just to take a look at the sheer number of homes that are being owned, we're about 72 to 77% home ownership rates in Idaho and rising, while in Spokane County, we're down in the high 50s, low 60% range. But I think it's that issue regarding greenhouse gas that we really have to register and take a look at because it is directly related to the growth management process. If there's not enough lots to build on here, people are going to go elsewhere. We did a study back in 2017, I'd love to resubmit to this committee, that outlined the issues and challenges with the last round of this. And ironically, the projections from that were that in the next 10 years, you'd see an enormous rise in the price of lots. And at the same time, you'd see a hemorrhage of business from Spokane County to Kootenai County. And just last week, we heard from at the Real Estate Market Forum that the amount of lost revenue from this state to Idaho is now approaching $1 billion a year. The hard figure was 981 million. Every year is being lost. So we're losing out on more than just economic advantage. We're losing out on our shifting emphasis towards North Idaho away from Spokane County. But in this conversation, in the context of what we're required to do, I would ask that we include the greenhouse gas emissions increase in the last 4 years due to a lack of housing. And plain and simple, depends on whose numbers you look at. If you attach the 4 to 5 million metric tons per vehicle that the federal government uses, or as of some climate scientists have asked, it's up to 8 metric tons per vehicle. You're literally talking about one of the
Mr.
largest
Watkins,
devices.
can you wrap up your comments?
That's it.
Yeah, can you wrap your comments up, Darren, because your time has expired.
Thank you so much. That's it.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman, Dr. Kerry Brooks.
Yes, Mr. Brooks, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on the draft climate and resiliency related countywide planning policies. They are, in my estimation, critical in providing a collaborative framework for the planning that lies ahead. I want to draw your attention to the document I submitted yesterday that's proposing edits to Goal 2 and its associated policies. It's building on the excellent work already completed. My suggestions intend to more clearly reflect the requirements that are outlined in Department of Commerce's climate planning guidance. For example, reiterating the importance of fostering resiliency to climate impacts. In the document, I also propose that you consider extending comment period on these important goals and policies. If you do extend the comment period, there's an opportunity to utilize the expertise available in the city and county climate advisory committees to review, revise, and endorse them. Also, the Department of Commerce guidance also emphasizes the importance of utilizing these committees. So please consider extending the comment period so that we as a community can obtain the best version of these goals and policies that reflects our values and priorities as we respond to the demands of the Climate Commitment Act, as well as a changing climate. Thanks very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Dr. Brook. Do we have anybody else that would like to provide any comment?
Mr. Chairman, I see no one online. And I don't see any hand raised in person.
Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry.
let me-
Paul Crop has raised his hand.
okay, Mr. Crop, you have 3 minutes and the floor is yours, sir.
Good morning. My name is Paul Kropp. I live in Spokane County. My address is 3311 East Sonora Court. I did make a submission about a redraft, a bit more professional redraft of the draft that you have before you. Happy to hear that the staff has no problem or objection to the recrafting that I did. It just makes it look a little bit more professional. There's a little bit of grammatical help, a little bit of clarification, and only one policy suggestion, which is to actually state when the climate report, when the reporting requirements would start, which would be 5 years after 2026. So I hope you consider this as a possible reference document if the hearing is continued, or to adopt it as an alternative to the original staff proposal. That's all I have, except that I will take questions if anybody has any.
Thank you, Mr. Crop. I don't, if anybody has any questions, they can funnel them through Mr. Chesney. And we can keep that chain of command, or that chain of communication documented. So anybody else like to provide any testimony at this time? Second call for anybody wanting to provide testimony. Third and final call.
Nothing online.
Nothing online, and so I will go ahead and close the hearing, and there'll be no action to be taken today. And that will then take us to the next item.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
We were anticipating the steering committee making a recommendation today, if you were
Okay.
comfortable doing so. If not, and if not, we're certainly prepared to continue this. But it has been in the works for quite some time, and we were hoping you would be comfortable making a recommendation today. Along that line, I would reiterate, I don't believe Mr. Kropp's comments are substantive. I think they are helpful, and we would accept those if there was a consensus to do so. You may want to consider Dr. Brooks' comments separately, and if you want some time to push those back, we would welcome that. Commissioner Waldrop has her hand raised.
Commissioner Waldrop. You're on mute.
Sorry, took my hand down, but didn't unmute. Okay, unfortunately, when I opened up Mr. Brooks' comments, maybe it's just my PDF reader tool, but I couldn't see any track changes in it. Did anyone else have that challenge, or is that just me?
I didn't receive the comments at all.
To everyone,
They were
we received them late last night, and they were sent out this morning about 7:30, I believe. Dr. Brooks' comments are on the screen in red line fashion now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Who are they sent from?
These comments are from Carrie Brooks.
I mean, where would I have received them in my email box? I searched you.
They would have come from Lori Carver here in Spokane County.
That's why I can't find them. Okay.
So my question was, I guess, I thought, I mean, I think the comments we received were excellent, and Mr. Kropp's comments were really just reformatting and making the document more clear. I appreciate all the work that's been done. I guess the one thing that I noticed with these red lines from Dr. Brooks is the inclusion of the word smoke as established development regulations that incorporate best practices for reducing the risk of wildfire, extreme heat, flooding, smoke. And I thought that was an important inclusion because smoke can have a lot of, negative health issues that are exacerbated through climate change. So I was just wondering if I could ask the planners, was there a reason why smoke was not included in the list of areas that we want to build community resilience around?
Commissioner Waldorf, I don't know specifically the answer to that. Graham has been shepherding this from our perspective, and I will see if he can weigh in on that.
Because to me, I'd be willing to make a motion to adopt the changes that were suggested by Ms. Kropp, which are just reformatting the document to be very clear about the planning list. I also wanted to include that word smoke as an area where we need to increase our community resilience. So I was just wondering if it was just left out or if that was something intentional.
Graham has joined us. Graham, can you give us the history of the PTAC deliberations on smoke? If
Yeah.
any?
I believe that the list of hazards in that particular policy were just supposed to be generally reflective of some of the policy or some of the hazards that that we face here in Spokane County. Smoke is absolutely one of them, and I would not be opposed to that being something that is in the language as well. But to your question about whether there was a reason that was left out, I don't think there was any reason that it was. I think that the existing list of hazards was a list that the PTAC subcommittee developed, and smoke was just simply not included in that, but not for any particular reason beyond this just being a list of just various climate hazards that happen in Spokane County.
Thanks, Graham. Mayor Cooper has her hand up.
Yeah, well, I wanted to circle back and close the conversation with regard to Commissioner Waldrop's comments and stuff. So if the committee is comfortable making a motion, we could certainly include in the motion the addition of smoke from Dr. Brook. So just wanted to point that out. So I've got Mayor Cooper, then I have again Joel White, and then I have Josh Kearns in that order. Mayor Cooper.
Good morning. I agree with Commissioner Waldorf. I also like the addition of smoke in the recovery world and all of this that we've been involved in. I think sometimes smoke gets left out because it's so highly regulated through clean air, and they have their own heavily, regulated and their processes. So oftentimes I think the smoke is left to clean air. So I think it's good to have it involved. And especially now that we're talking in this fire mitigation world, the use of prescribed burns. And so I think it's good to include it. And then I also love the reformatting. I think anytime that we can reformat and add those headers and make things more clear, I also appreciated Mr. Krupp's changes. And so I agree and just wanted to give my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Joel White.
I guess I'm not opposed to smoke so much as that I think with wildfires largely the reason we have smoke. So you're already addressing those needs. Is that redundant? I guess you could put prescribed burns as well, but are we being redundant because we're adapting? I know there's other elements of wildfire. I'm not naive, but are we just being redundant to do that?
Okay, thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Kearns.
Yeah, my remarks were going to kind of track what Joel was doing there. I mean, I think it's safe to say we're talking about smoke that is from wildfires, but I know, over the last several years in Washington State, there has been an effort to reduce or sort of impact individuals that rely on wood burning fireplaces, and I just don't want those two things to kind of be confused there. I know, there's not a huge number of folks, but there are some folks that they rely on a wood burning fireplace certain times of the year, especially if the power goes out. Just don't want
Lorna?
those things
Have you
mixed.
gone upstairs to change your clothes? When you go upstairs, open the front windows. When you go upstairs,
Okay.
You're
the
you're
front
unmuted,
windows.
Mr. Crop.
Somebody, whoever's
And
talking,
please
you're
bring me
unmuted.
what's coming out of the printer.
Please
When
mute yourself.
Thank you.
Hello. All right, continue on, Commissioner Kearns.
No, I think I made my point there. Do we want to specify that? I mean, we're talking about smoke from wildfires, not necessarily smoke that could happen from an individual's heating source at their home.
Okay, thank you. Then I have Councilmember Klitsky.
Thanks. I also support incorporating Mr. Crop and Mr. Brooks's comments into the document. I think the point is taken about the participation of the committees, but I also just wanted to acknowledge that this is kind of a preliminary step. We're mostly doing the countywide planning policies, which are quite generic. So I think when we all do our comp plans, then we definitely should be looking at that climate chapter and incorporating those committees. And I am also supportive of the adding of the word smoke.
Okay, I'm back to Commissioner Waldron.
Well, it sounds like there's some general support. So I'm going to make a motion that we adopt the countywide planning policies as, I guess I could say, the version that was submitted by Paul Crop with the addition of the word wildfire smoke in I'm looking at the right section here.
Nope. Hang on, I'll get it for you.
In number 2C. And I appreciate the thoughts behind that. I think the point is to build resiliency in our community in general around wildfire smoke that can come from other parts of the country, quite frankly, not even wildfires here. And how do we think about building that resiliency in the community? So that's my motion, that we adopt Mr. Crop's version with the insertion of the word wildfire smoke in 2C. Because it is kind of a separate, I think, issue related to wildfires that our community should be better prepared for.
Second.
Okay,
I'm sorry,
got a motion.
Who was the second?
I think
Kitty.
Mayor Cooper. Oh, Kitty
Kitty?
Klitsky. I'm sorry.
Got it. Thank you very much.
All right, so with that, is there anybody who wants to speak to the motion?
I would like to, if I could, as Mayor Cooper. I
Yes.
think that the wildfire smoke, I'm supportive of that language, but I think there's going to be smoke because of these prescribed burns. And so wildfire, because it's a mitigation effort, and I see the word mitigate is in here on one of, where under section 2 there. Anyway, I just want to make sure, and I wasn't looking exactly the section, Commissioner, that you were talking about where we're adding wildfire smoke, but that we also talk about smoke that would be related to mitigation, that we're balancing that as well. So I know Clean Air manages that, but I think it's good to have it in here. And I don't know if it's important to add that, but that would be there's more than just wildfire smoke that's going to be a concern. That's my only comment. Otherwise, I support it.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So I'm the chair for the Clean Air Agency, and I can tell you that Clean Air Agency does monitor both particulate matter in the air as well as smoke. And we do have programs that, as Commissioner Kearns indicated, that are designed for people that use fireplaces and wood burning stoves as their primary source of heat. And so we do have programs around improving the quality of those appliances and stuff, but that is something that is monitored by Clean Air Agency to adhere to both state and federal requirements for clean air. So I think the idea of adding wildfire smoke and being more specific is a good addition, and doesn't overlap with the authorities of the Clean Air Agency. So anybody else want to comment?
Commissioner, can I just finish on that thought, if you don't mind?
Sure.
Would it be
Yeah.
prudent to maybe just put a little sentence, half a sentence in there that says, or part of it, in compliance and coordination with clean air? Because then that would cover all those things. We wouldn't have to keep saying, except for wood stoves, except for burning, except for, we could just say smoke, in compliance and coordination with clean air. I don't know if that's helpful, but last comment.
So if you want to make that as amendment.
Chair Kevin Freeman,
Go ahead.
I have a real quick question. Aren't we kind of getting much more into legislation than in a planning document by including some of this stuff? We're still at the planning stage in a lot of these, and I think that's kind of where we're at. The other is just a real quick observation. I don't necessarily think you close the public hearing, and we might want to do that before we actually take the vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Freeman. I will,
I believe you
at
did.
this time, pardon?
Mr. Chairman, I
Mr.
did believe,
Joseph?
I believe you did close the public hearing.
Oh, I thought I did, but at my age, I'd be anything.
Well, my
Go ahead.
sincere apologies, Commissioner. That would be on me. Thank you.
Not a problem. All right, so coming back to Mayor Cooper, were you making that as a suggestion, or are you making that as an amendment?
I didn't know if you wanted to take the vote first, but I would like to suggest adding the language in compliance and coordination with Spokane, with clean air. Thank you.
Okay.
Commissioner.
So I've got
Jason
who's the
Upchurch.
second? Okay.
Well, I'm not
So I've got a
seconding. I have a question.
Okay, well, I'm looking for a
One
second
of clarification.
Okay.
Just to be clear, the document says smoke, but my understanding is Commissioner Waldrop wanted to be specific and say wildfire smoke, which is different than the document. Is that I'm generally opposed to adding smoke in there because I think wildfires always have smoke. But I just wanted to be clear what we're actually amending to. Is her motion for wildfire smoke together, or is it smoke as is in the document? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
So, yes, Mr. Chairman.
The record we have is that Commissioner Waldorf made the motion to accept the document with Paul Kropp's changes and add the word smoke from Dr. Brooks's changes. That was the motion that was put on the floor, and then there was subsequent discussion about maybe a friendly amendment to add wildfire, but the original motion was just smoke.
Well, the original document was just smoke, and I think that Commissioner Waldrop's motion was to include a wildfire smoke, and she was specific about wildfire smoke in her motion.
Okay.
So now,
So noted.
now the question is, as offered up by Mayor Cooper, is do we want to add language that requires coordination with Clean Air Agency or not at this point? And so she's made a motion. I have yet to hear a second. And at the absence of a second, then the motion will die.
I would second,
So
but
is
I'm
there-
also interested in just using the word smoke instead of wildfire smoke. I think that's a good point about the controlled burns. And I think that what this document is about is being collaborative in our planning on these things so that we're not causing each other harm. So I think it's a good idea to include smoke in there to further our resiliency and not increase our problems.
So you're seconding the mayor's motion, which was requiring a coordination with Clean Air Agency. And so I will take that as a second. So let's talk about the amended motion or the amendment to the motion. And we will take a vote on that. And then we can go back to the underlying motion from Commissioner Waldron. So the amendment on the floor now is to add language that requires coordination with the Clean Air Agency with regard to the monitoring of smoke and air quality in the county. So does anybody want to speak to that amendment? Ms. Klitsky? You have your hand up?
Sorry, I forgot to
Damn it.
lower my hand.
Oh, that's all right. Anybody else want to speak to the amendment? All right, seeing
I
nobody
would,
raise their
if
hand.
Commissioner French, if I could, I think my emotion was that it would say in compliance and coordination with. I don't know if that's. a
That's
big
what
enough-
that's what I have on
But
my.
that
record-
was
my
the
notes.
motion, 2 words,
Okay.
compliance and coordination. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarity. And with that, then all those in favor of the motion, the amendment to the document, please indicate by saying aye.
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 And opposed, nay.
Nay.
All right, looks like the ayes have it. So now we have an amendment, an amended motion from, and the underlying motion is the motion from Commissioner Waldron. So does anybody want to speak to that motion, which is to accept the comments from Mr. Paul Kropp and to add the comments from Dr. Brook with regard to smoke, but the clarification is that it's wildfire smoke. So anybody want to speak to that motion? Well, I'll start out with you, Commissioner Waldron. It was your motion, so do you want to speak to it?
So you're taking comments now on the amended motion,
Yes,
correct? Okay,
yes.
so amended motion, it sounded like, can somebody just restate the portion that Mayor and Kitty had, motioned and seconded? What is the new part there? I think I'm fine with it. I just wanted to hear it clearly, the amended portion.
The amendment from Mayor Cooper includes the words in compliance and coordination with clean air. And that's presumably under 2C in the document.
Otherwise, the motion
I'm
on the
fine
floor
with
is yours, Commissioner.
So
Go
I'm
ahead.
fine with the amended motion. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay, so I support the amended motion. I think the whole point is just that we need to be more resilient in our planning around smoke. And however, if it's wildfire smoke, that's great. And I think that the amendment by Mayor Cooper, I accept that. because there are other things that like prescribed burns that are related to climate that we also need to be prepared for with the coordination with clean air. So I support the amended motion and look for us to be able to move forward on this.
All right. Any other comments on the amended motion?
Yeah, so you've taken a vote on the amended motion, and so now we're back to the original, which came from the commissioner. I would like to
Yes.
ask that maybe, Commissioner, if you would want to take out the word wildfire, but accept those new formats, accept Dr. Brooks, and that we put the word smoke in there, but that if you would be okay with striking the word wildfire and that we just talk about any kind of smoke in compliance with. I think it's more general. And what are your thoughts on that?
I'm fine with that because we added the additional language, right? So yes, I would support just keeping it smoke with the additional language that was just voted on for the amendment to clarify that.
So if I could make an amended motion then to the original motion, and that is to accept Mr. Crop and Dr. Brooks changes, along with adding the word smoke and striking the word wildfire, which was in the motion. That would be my amended motion.
Second.
Okay. Who is the second?
Kitty, sorry.
Kitty.
Okay, Ms. Klitsky. And then we'll speak to the amendment, Mr. White.
So, Commissioner Kearns had brought up the issue. We have a lot of people in Spokane County that rely on fireplaces for heat. Is that no longer going to be protected with this goal of eliminating all smoke?
So my understanding was with the language that was offered up by Mayor Cooper, that that would be in coordination and compliance with Clean Air Agency. And the Clean Air Agency is actually the agency that monitors the smoke from fireplaces and fire inserts. And fire inserts are an allowed appliance, and fireplaces are an allowed addition to residential construction. So the issue is just making sure that those elements are in compliance with the Clean Air Agency and state and federal regulations that relate to that. So I did not see and did not interpret that amendment as eliminating fire burning stoves or fireplaces. It just said that it had to be coordinated and in compliance with Clean Air Agency requirements, which are the underlying law anyway. Any other comments? All right, so the amendment on the floor now is to eliminate the word wildfire from wildfire smoke. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay.
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 Got 2 nays. And I
Nay,
think we've
three,
got
three nay, you got 3 nays.
3 nays. We've got 3 nays
4 nays.
and 4 nays. So with the nays have it. So that amendment fails. So now we go back to the underlying motion, which was to accept the document with the edits from Mr. Paul Kropp and Dr. Brook, and adding, and just keeping wildfire smoke. Any discussion on the underlying motion? Mayor Cooper, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. Just wanting to speak to the nays. Leaving the world wildfire in there makes it a specific, and I think we want to just address all the smoke, knowing that if you just put wildfire smoke in there, it makes it a specific focus of attention when smoke comes from so many other things, and especially now that we're moving into the resiliency preparation and fuel reduction stage of the county emergency management and recovery work. And it's going to be very important because the smoke is going to come from all kinds of places. So I was just hopeful that we could take out the word wildfire, because I think then puts the focus just on wildfire when it's really just the smoke itself from these various things that are going to be happening. So I'm fine either way. It just changes it a little bit in my mind.
Okay. Any other comments on the underlying motion? Ms. Klitsky?
Thanks. I think we all should also keep in mind that we're talking about our planning documents here. We're not talking about building code. We're not talking about regulations. We're talking about how we proactively plan for our future. So this isn't going to ban wood stoves and fireplaces, and they're not protected uses. If there's a countywide burn ban due to air quality, those already happen. That we regulate those things with burn bans through the Clean Air Agency, not through our land use planning. So those are completely different issues.
Okay, any other comments? Mr. Bowman?
Yeah, I think anytime that we put anything into our planning documents that we have to live out, I mean, the Clean Air Act is already in effect, all around. So what would the inclusion of this in these documents actually produce? So if we already have the Clean Air Act that's going to be in effect no matter what we do, adding this into our planning document, what does it truly accomplish? That's my question.
Okay. Any other comments? Mr. Upchurch?
Yeah, I would just echo that very same thing. And then I think at this point, again, if we're talking about wildfire smoke, I've never seen a wildfire without smoke. So it just seems redundant to include wildfire smoke and wildfires already in the verbiage.
Okay. Any other comments, Bert? Yes, Ms. Klitsky.
I would just say that when you include we're addressing our countywide planning policies. So what this would do would be to direct jurisdictions to have a plan. So if your plan to address wildfire smoke could be to have shelters where people can congregate to have access to fresh air and filtered air if they don't have that in their own homes. Resiliency planning is usually a section in your comprehensive plan where you figure out how you're going to address these threats. And that's all it is, but it is good to address these things. If you don't have a plan and you have a big fire and you don't have a place for your folks to evacuate to get away from extremely hazardous air, then you don't have, the resources set up to do that. So that's what this is about.
Okay.
Commissioner, call the question.
Yes. Yes. Lacking any other comments, I'm going to go ahead and call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, got 4 ayes. All opposed, nay.
Nay.
Got 1 nay. Ayes have it. All right. We're done. So,
Can you,
with that,
would you mind reading the entirety of the language now, if you could, please?
Certainly, what we would, the motion originally from Commissioner Waldorf was to accept the draft countywide planning policies, incorporating Paul Kropp's changes, adding wildfire smoke, and in compliance and coordination with clean air into section 2D.
Thank you.
Okay. That completes our work on the public hearing. So that we'll move on to the discussion. Oh, Commissioner Waldron.
I was just clarifying that I think it's in section 2C.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I did have that in my notes.
So
My
it would
fault.
say fire, comma, extreme heat, comma, flooding, comma, wildfire smoke, and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yes.
That's what we, okay, thank you.
My mistake.
All right. So the next item on our agenda is discussion on land capacity analysis progress report from Spokane County and the cities and towns, and consideration for a second round of population and housing allocations. And Mr. Chesney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the first time for the steering committee to have seen the initial work on land capacity analyses from all of the cities, towns, and county in one place. We're going to, and as background, of course, you've all been part of this process. There's been a subcommittee that has been working on this. The individual towns and city reports and the county report are posted under the steering committee and also in the county's comprehensive plan website for more detailed information. We wanted to bring to you today a summary. I'm going to have Graham talk through the basics of this, but we also did this with the opportunity to allow any of the individual communities to walk through their own numbers or answer any questions. So Graham, if you would walk through the charts and let me know when you want to move on.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah, so this first chart here, this is something that I believe everybody should have seen before. This is just a table showing the allocations for each community. So this was done prior to the LCAs. This is basically just a jurisdictional breakdown of the total county allocation that was based on the OFM medium projection of population growth from 2023 to 2046. So you can see in that very top row where it shows that in 2023 the baseline population of Spokane County was 554,000, and then in that second column where it shows the 2046 allocation, you'll see it's the new population is almost 100,000 or just over 100,000 more people. And then that amount is reflected in that final column. And so then you can see in all the rows below that, that's just the jurisdictional breakdown. Again, this is not something that is new. This is more just a slide that's in here as a refresher for everybody. The allocations are what was established first, and then the land capacity analysis results are what we measure against these allocations.
And
so
let me jump back in for a second because the other part that this is here gets to the agenda item that said second round of allocations. The narrative over on the left side that says these numbers may be refined after the technical analysis. That is the preferred approach by the PTAC directors, rather than go through a second round of allocation, is to start with these numbers and then go through the technical analysis itself with it, which would have a mitigating factor on these final ones. So it's kind of getting at the end of the agenda item, but then we can go on.
We can move on to the next slide there. So this slide is what shows both the capacities that were determined by each jurisdiction's land capacity analysis as compared to those population allocations, as well as the housing allocations, which were determined using the housing for all, can't remember, it's the HAPT tool that was prepared by the Department of Commerce. So you can see in the first two columns, the first orange column and the first purple column there, that shows the number of dwelling units that each jurisdiction has capacity for. And you can see the total running capacity there at the bottom. Similarly with the population column, you can see the capacity that each jurisdiction determined it has, or the population that each jurisdiction determined it has capacity for. And you can see the running total at the bottom. In that second orange column and the second purple column, you can see the allocations that I just mentioned. The housing allocation comes from the HAP tool. The population allocation comes from OFM. These are the numbers that are from that previous slide. The only reason that that population allocation doesn't add up to 95,000 or doesn't add up to 100,000 like they do in the previous slide is because the rural lands are omitted from this chart. So this is just capacity of the urban growth area, including the unincorporated urban growth area. So the main story that these results or that this table tells is kind of stated at the bottom there, is that within the UGA there is capacity for roughly 30,000 more people than the OFM medium allocation through 2046. So you can see there, we had an allocation in the UGA of just over 95,000, but we have room for a population of 125,000 or almost 125,000.
And members of this committee, remember that that is based on the initial evaluations of each jurisdiction at this point. All of those will go through a more robust GMA analysis based on all of the elements, notably capital facilities, transportation, utilities. And so the numbers will change in some capacity, but using the pure math of the LCAs, the overall capacity is what Graham has shown.
So, Mr. Chesney, is the data that was used to compute these and the assumptions that were made, is that available for the committee members?
Yes, each of the towns and cities produce a report. Those reports are posted on our web under the steering committee meetings, as well as under the county's comprehensive plan links. And
Okay,
this would,
so
I'm sorry, this
Go ahead.
would be the chance to, I'm sorry, I keep rubbing that slide. This may be the chance if the committee wanted to open the floor to the various communities to talk about their individual findings.
Okay, and so we do have a number of communities that are represented here. So would anybody like to try and address the numbers that are presented here?
And while that's going on, let me jump kind of quickly to the calendar. We're not asking the committee for any decision or anything today. Guidance is always welcome. We're hoping that our constituent communities can start doing their analysis between now and the May meeting. And so we'll have an update of this in May. And we may or may not be ready to have a final in May, but we're going to try to at least get that refinement done in the next couple of months.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner.
Anybody want to? Yes.
Kevin Freeman from Millwood. We have completed our LCA. It was adopted by the council in January. The final document has been submitted. And so I'm at a loss as to why we still had gray boxes there in that chart, but we've provided all of our data to the county. And so our housing units are consistent with the draft document that was previously submitted.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Chesney, you don't want to address his comment?
Certainly. We simply put up the most recent numbers for the capacity. We didn't go back and fill in the available acreage in those documents. We will do that and send out an updated version of this chart to everybody so that we can all see what Mayor Freeman's referring to.
Thank you. Anybody else want to comment? Second call for anybody else wanting to comment about the numbers. Come on, folks, be proud, step forward. No, I'm just kidding. All right, Joe, Mr. White.
I'm not going to speak on behalf of my association, but I have heard from a number of builders, including Jim Frank. He's done a thorough analysis. He provided that to the city of Spokane. They moved ahead without that, but there's serious concerns about whether we're looking at this as a reasonably available or a theoretically available. And I think that's the next phase, going into reviewing the infrastructure requirements. I know he suggested the Kitsap County did a great job with their project. And I think a lot of those elements were not used by some of the other jurisdictions. And so that's something to just consider as we move forward. So.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any other comments? Well, then more to come. We look forward to the technical work and the analysis with both capital facilities and other policy statements and stuff. So then that gets us to Spokane County Planning Calendar and Regional Milestones. Mr. Chesney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This will be pretty quick. Wanted to lay out, we hinted at where that calendar was going just a minute ago. We're hoping for refinement of the, as Mr. White put it, from theoretical to reasonable, real capacity, some version of that by your May meeting. And then between here in the first quarter, moving to the second quarter, Spokane County is going through its placemaking and visioning scenarios, and that's the beginning of our EIS scoping period, which will come along. We expect to bring scoping alternatives to the Board of County Commissioners somewhere in the second quarter, probably late second quarter of this year, to help guide that process and the rest of our plan. And then the growth alternatives from our side, but also through second quarter, third quarter 25, including initial considerations of growth within or without the UGA, including the capital facilities planning on that, leading up to a quarter 4 draft release of at least the countywide environmental impact statement. We will be coordinating the EIS work with our major cities, to be sure. And then all of that starts to come together in the fourth quarter of this year. And we're still tasking ourselves to get quite as much done as we can by June of 2026, but recognizing that the bill extending our period of time by 6 months was heard this morning by the House Local Government Committee. The Senate bill that came over seemed to be favorably received. And we would expect that that 6-month extension will likely be granted, which will give us some time to further include public participation and testing of that and get it to all of our constituencies for their legislative action before December of 2026. I'm happy to take any questions, Mr. Chairman. That's all I have.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chesney. Any questions for Mr. Chesney? Okay. So that then gets us to public comment for anybody who'd like to provide any comment for any items not on our agenda today. And so I will open up the floor for anybody in the audience that would like to provide any public comments. This would be the time to do it. 3 minutes to share any thoughts you might have with the committee. Second call for anybody wanting to provide any comments. I'm not seeing anybody on the screen, Mr. Chesney. So if you see somebody, please let me know.
There are no hands raised online.
All right, third and final call. Very good. So that will close the public comment period. So our next meeting is May 21st, 2025, and the location will be determined and or be by a Zoom. So with that, we've covered all the work coming before us. Is there anything else, Mr. Chesney?
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Well, everybody have a great day and a great weekend, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Scott, could you stay on just for 1 second?
Sure.
It's a minor thing. My emails, I'm trying to reach out to the county building and permitting, and then some other emails in the county. And for some reason, my Medical Lake mayor's email is kicking back, and I don't know who to contact about getting my email off the blacklist, I guess. I don't know.
Let me, Lori, our business manager, is on the line. She is also our IT liaison. I don't know exactly who would troubleshoot it, but she can help figure that out. Would you send your email to her or to me, and so that we know exactly what it is? Is that what kicking back?
The problem is that my emails are not, I'm getting them from Lori. Lori, I can communicate with you, but like emails to certain departments aren't going to the
So it's
people.
it's
I only have
countywide.
So I'm concerned. Well, the ones from you, Lori, are coming through. I think I got the one from this morning, but others are not. So, but it's the tcooper@medical-lake.org. So,
Okay.
but Lori, I'll send you an email and I'll include you, Scott. But I think the last one I tried to send you, Scott, also came back. But I'll try both of you.
All right. We'll do some troubleshooting on our side, and hopefully we can help. Sorry about that, Mayor.
Yeah, sorry I had to, it's like I don't know who to ask. So I go, well, I got a hot body, I'll ask you. So thanks.
We'll do your best. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.